Hello and welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about a very famous, very old story. It's a play written by the great English writer William Shakespeare, and it's called Macbeth. Now, even if you've never read this book, or maybe you read it a really long time ago, don't worry at all. In this explainer, we're going to go through the whole story together using simple, clear English. We'll meet the characters, follow the exciting events, and most importantly, uncover the deep meaning behind it all. It's a pretty dark story. It's full of magic, people wanting way too much power, and making some truly terrible choices. So, are you ready? Let's begin.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll meet the characters. Second, we'll learn about a dark prophecy. Third, we'll see the story of the bloody crown. Fourth, we look at madness, guilt, and justice. Fifth, we'll understand the topic, idea, and theme. And finally, number 6, we're going to discover the meaning of Macbeth.
Section 1. Meet the characters.
Before the real action begins, we absolutely must meet the people in our story to understand what's happening. First up is our main guy, Macbeth. He's a brave general in the Scottish army. He's this strong soldier who fights hard for his country, and honestly, everyone respects him. Next is his wife, Lady Macbeth. Now, she is very smart, but she's also incredibly greedy. She wants money and power, and she wants it fast. Finally, we have the 3 witches. These are strange, magical women. They live out in the wild, and they have a special power. They can actually tell the future. They know it's going to happen before it happens, and they just love causing trouble.
And here are 3 more really important people. First is King Duncan. He's the King of Scotland, and he is a very good, kind, and fair king. Basically, everyone in the whole country loves him. Next is Banquo. Banquo is also a brave soldier, but he's Macbeth's best friend. They fight in wars together and trust each other completely. Last is Macduff. Macduff is another really brave soldier. He's very loyal and true to his country. Make sure you remember these names, all right? Because their lives are about to change forever.
Let's move on and see how this builds our story. Imagine we are traveling way back in time to ancient Scotland. It's a wild place with huge mountains, dark skies, and tough soldiers. This is exactly where our journey begins.
Section 2. A Dark Prophecy.
So what is a prophecy? Well, a prophecy is basically a magical message about the future. One dark, rainy day, right after a huge, bloodied battle, Macbeth and his friend Banquo are walking home. Suddenly, right out of the fog, they meet the 3 witches. The witches look super scary, wearing wild clothes and speaking in these strange voices. And they tell Macbeth a secret prophecy. They look at him and say, "Macbeth, you will be the king of Scotland in the future." Now, Macbeth is shocked. He's not the king. The good King Duncan is the king, right? But hearing this magic secret kind of changes Macbeth. A dark seed starts to grow in his heart. He actually starts to want that beautiful crown for himself.
After this happens, Macbeth writes a letter to his wife, Lady Macbeth. He tells her the whole crazy story about the magic witches and their secret message. Well, when Lady Macbeth reads this letter, she is so excited. But remember, she's very greedy and super impatient. She doesn't want to wait for the future at all. She wants to be the queen right now. So she comes up with a terrible, dark plan. When Macbeth gets home, she looks right at him and says, "We can't wait. We must kill the good King Duncan tonight."
Section 3. The Bloody Crown.
Okay, this is the darkest part of our story. The good King Duncan comes to visit Macbeth. He eats a big, lovely dinner, smiles at everyone, and goes to sleep in Macbeth's castle. He feels completely safe. But right outside his bedroom door, Macbeth is terrified. He knows it's evil to kill a good man, especially his own king. He really wants to stop. But his greedy wife keeps pushing him. She actually calls him weak. So, in the middle of the dark night, Macbeth takes a knife and kills the sleeping king. It's done. King Duncan is dead. Macbeth takes the crown and becomes the new king of Scotland. But as you'll see, that crown is covered in invisible blood.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how much Macbeth completely changes because of his terrible choice. Before the murder, Macbeth was a brave general. People loved him. He was a total hero with a clear mind. But after he kills the king, everything flips. He becomes a bad, cruel king. He's never happy anymore. He is always afraid. He thinks to himself, wait, if I killed the king to get the crown, maybe someone will kill me to take it. He literally can't trust anyone. He starts to think everyone in the entire world is his enemy.
Section 4. Madness, Guilt, and Justice.
You know, when you do bad things, the situation usually goes from bad to worse. Because Macbeth is so terrified of losing his new power, he starts doing more and more evil things. He just can't stop. He even hires bad men to kill his best friend, Banquo. Can you believe that? He kills many innocent people across Scotland, turning into a completely cruel monster. Finally, the brave soldier Macduff has had enough. He becomes very angry. Macduff sees his beautiful country crying and says, "This evil absolutely must stop." So, he travels to another country and brings back a huge army to fight the bad king Macbeth.
But what about Lady Macbeth? She wanted to be queen so badly, right? So is she happy now? No, not at all. Her mind is completely broken. She feels terrible guilt deep in her heart. And guilt, it's that really heavy pain you feel when you know you did something horribly wrong. She can't even sleep well at night. She walks around the dark castle while she's sleeping. She constantly rubs her hands together, crying and trying to wash them. Why? Because in her sick, guilty mind, she sees real blood on her hands. She cries out, "The blood won't wash off." The guilt is just way too heavy for her human soul. Soon, she goes totally crazy from this pain, and very sadly, she dies.
Finally, Macduff's great army arrives at the castle. The brave soldier Macduff fights Macbeth in a massive, heavy sword battle. And in the end, Macduff wins. He kills Macbeth. The bad king is finally gone for good. King Duncan's good son becomes the new, kind king. The dark clouds finally go away, the sun shines again, and the beautiful country of Scotland is safe and peaceful once more. It really goes to show that justice always wins in the end.
Section 5. Topic, Idea, and Theme.
Well, we've finished the action of the story. Now let's learn what this story means deep down. First is the topic. The topic is simply what the story's about on the outside. So, the topic of this play is just the story of a Scottish general who becomes king. It's the basic action. But as we know, a great masterpiece is always about way more than just sword fights and kings, right?
So, the crucial point here is the main idea. This is the big, deep lesson the writer wants to teach our hearts. The main idea of Macbeth is this: doing bad things to get power will destroy your life. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth honestly thought the crown would make them happy. They did terrible things to get it. But those bad things didn't bring happiness. They brought fear. Those bad choices completely destroyed their minds, their sleep, and ultimately, their whole lives.
And that brings us to the themes. Themes are the big human emotions we all feel. First up is ambition. Ambition means wanting success or power very much. Now, having a little ambition is a good thing, but Lady Macbeth had blind, greedy ambition. She just wanted too much. Second is guilt. Guilt is that terrible, sick feeling in your stomach after you do something bad. We definitely saw this when Lady Macbeth tried to wash the fake blood off her hands. Third is the results of evil actions. Every single bad choice you make has a bad result. The story clearly shows us that you just cannot build a happy life on an evil foundation.
Section 6. The Meaning of Macbeth. As we wrap up today, I want you to ask yourself a really deep question. What happens when we do bad things for power? Just think about Macbeth for a second. And first, he was a great hero. He was brave and people loved him. But he let a dark secret and a greedy wish completely change his heart. Sure, he won the gold crown, but to get it, he lost his best friend, he lost his wife, he lost his mind, and finally, he lost his own life.
And this brilliantly illustrates the timeless lesson of Shakespeare's great story. Doing bad things to get power will absolutely destroy your life. It's a really tragic and sad story, but it's such an important one for all of us to hear. It teaches us to be happy with who we are, to be good and loyal to our friends, and to always listen to our good heart, not our greedy ambition.
I really hope this explainer helped you deeply understand the beautiful and sad story of Macbeth. Thank you so much for learning with me today. Until next time, keep reading and keep asking great questions.